failure of reason. If reason is the only thing that brings solidarity between all of us, we don't need to be identified as a man, woman, and Dalit and upper caste. You got the point? See, I remember even during my childhood also, now I don't see that. If somebody is talking some illogically, people used to say that why would it be reasonable? That logic is gone now. If you are talking something wrong, a woman will not say that you are irrational. She will say that you are patriarchal. Indirectly, she will be telling you that you are male. You understand? So, now, if about cultural implications somebody is talking wrongly, if the person who is feeling very bad about the way he is talking, you think, okay, this fellow whether he is upper caste or backward caste. He is not a Dalit. Okay. Ramesh, tell me, any tribal person easily can identify who is non-tribal. In fact, it's up top. Not necessarily because of rationality, but our understanding of culture is so deep now. We are able to easily identify. So now, rationality alone will not help us to understand the power relations. You got it? Rationality alone is not enough. All our education is about rationality, scientific thinking, that thinking, this thinking. But the power of rationality, power of scientific thinking, gone. Now we all start identifying as groups: gender, male, patriarchy, color, caste, these things. Okay. Now, each one of us has some power. In relation to women, because of patriarchy, men are powerful. But most upper caste easily accept this power relation, but they don't accept similarly, they are more powerful to theirs culturally, in terms of social resources. Similarly about tribal, non-tribal equations. Now, we have so many identities. Okay. But if a combination of all these identities accumulate at one place, then what happens? You are not only upper caste, you are also upper class, you are also a man. You also have a low opinion about black looking. And you are also from a highly developed area, then what happens? You will be so much powerful because of accumulation of so many social resources. That one has to identify. One has to be very, very conscious. The powerful has to be very, very conscious about their social background, their cultural background, their patriarchal background. Now, we understand these power relations. The fundamental problem with this is recognizing and ignoring. What is the purpose of recognizing? What is the purpose of ignoring? Why should we recognize our power position? Why should we ignore our power position? What we are doing, if we are ignoring it, what we are doing, we are acknowledging it.
It suits us to ignore it. And when we recognize it, because we want to be progressive, we want to sound
superior.
That is also another kind of.
Yeah. The point that you are saying is the instrumental rationality. You use it whenever it suits for you, you ignore it whenever. So rationality is always only instrumental rationality, there is no real rationality, emancipatory rationality. There is nothing like it emancipates us from one problem to another problem. It finds a solution. So now, in America, debate was not now, 50 years back. Blacks used to say that we are black, we are discriminated. The white used to say, no, we are all human beings, there is nothing like black and white. Then somebody said, if you want to become a color blind, you have to recognize color. Color blind means I don't recognize any color. You have to, if you want to become a color blind, you have to recognize color. If I come to you and say that, no, we are human beings, I am not man, you are not woman. The politically correct version is, you will come and tell me, first you recognize that you are a man, and then a day will come when it doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. Until this part we are very comfortable in India. If we say that first you recognize your caste, so that a day will come when you will also ignore caste differences. If you really want to ignore the caste differences, we have to recognize our caste first. But the problem is that we don't want to. But recognizing caste has two purposes. Recognizing gender has two purposes. Recognizing color has two purposes. One purpose is to reinforce it. The second purpose is to overcome it. I always think that I am a man, and I also curse it. But I recognize it because I want to overcome, not to become a male chauvinist, to overcome the male qualities. Okay. Now, similarly, if you are upper caste, you have to recognize your upper caste relation with the other person, so that you have to overcome it. This is power relations debate. Okay. Now there is a larger debate, that is, let us go to next layer of this whole debate. When we say that we have to recognize the difference between us, so that we all become equal. What do you guys think of the notion of equality? Are we all equal? Is it possible to be equal in any sense? Then, but equality has so much of moral force now.
It has, but it's equal. I think personally, it's equal. It is possible to be equal in many senses. It's possible, but it's also impossible to be equal in a lot of senses. But say biology.
In what sense it is possible? Tell me.
Equality. Equal pay, equal work.
Yes.
Equality. Equality is a possibility.
Yeah, that is absolutely, yeah. Then that has to be enforced. That can be enforced before law. Okay. What are the other forms of equality? No, generally we say that we are all human beings, therefore we are all equal. No? The one understanding the whole idea of equality. Any idea of the first time where the whole question of equality came up? All are equal before God. That is the first notion of equality. See, American Constitution starts with all are created equal. And by God is the two words they listed. Okay? We all think equal. But even in Christianity, when they say all are equal, then they say priests are different from others and condemned and damned are unequal. Men and women are unequal. Aristotle did not believe women are equal, slaves, propertyless. Okay. But not everybody knows not having equality is a troublesome. But in what sense we all become equal, we don't know. But in practice, if I have to elaborate a little more what you said, there is, in practice, there is only one form of equality. Only one form. That is equality before law. Nothing else. This is where we began our whole debate, if you remember. Okay? Equality in practical terms means we are all unique human beings. Culturally, in terms of any potential, each one of us very, very unique. Uniqueness, not necessarily unequal.
Yeah.
Okay? Your language, your thinking, and your base of capacities, your potential, everything is. Somebody described equality as imperialism of the same. Equality means I should behave like you, you should behave like me. Should I behave like you, you should behave like me. Then why do we need it? It's like we are all Xerox copies of each other. Okay? So that is, equality is always debated in around the notion of power. Okay? And a day should come that, the men also should feel pride that we are men, without exercising power on the woman. But now man means it's only actually, in relation to my power over you. That is the level it has come. Otherwise, in many senses, they are all equality before law. How was it converted into practice through law? Somebody said equal opportunity.
Equal.
That's one thing. Equal opportunity means all laws, democratic laws, they say everybody should have equal opportunity to do whatever you think is right, not what I think is right. Now the problem is that only. The other debate is happening. That woman should not move in the middle of the night. You should not do that.
It's not that. But when it comes to power, in terms of power, there is a certain sort of class ceiling for women in corporates or anything. So when you're saying give equal opportunities, whenever corporates, even in private companies or big conglomerates, when they take women into, when they're interviewing women for any job interview, they always take into consideration that if she's not married, one day she's going to get married, get babies. So all these factors come into being. That way you're not treating equally there. When it comes to power, then you're not being given equal opportunities. Maybe the woman is more better, more competent than the man, but the factors of her competency will not be taken into account.
See, the problem is there. The assumption is the birth of both the individuals will be measured in terms of the money. Okay. But I am saying, in other dimensions, you are much more superior to the man. That should be recognized. That should be compensated. But the problem is, we measure the worth of whether men or woman, upper class, lower class, only in terms of salaries.
Yes.
That is where this whole debate coming up.
No,
But otherwise, we should.
Yeah, no, but since you were asking about power and equality, so I'm just citing a small example on how
I understand.
comes
If in modern life, if we think money is the measure of worth of all the life, then your question is right. But what if we go to a stage of civilization where I think in Scandinavian countries, because of career, a lot of women actually are not willing to go for children.
Japan also.
Yeah, but those countries are encouraging. You will give them 4 times more salary, no, you will go for the children. You don't need to do job. Yes, the society is recognizing the contribution. Not necessarily in terms of production of homes and anything. Then, of course, civilization is changing. Now, one of the ways of acquiring equality is that in one area I will become an expert, so that my services will be available to everybody. I am a doctor, I am a lawyer, I am a professor. But I will be in all other areas, I will be stupid. If you have to think about power, expertise is a power. You are a neurosurgeon. Okay? I am a patient. I don't understand even 1%. But as a neurosurgeon, you will explain everything. Which means, it was only Gandhi who understood it almost 100 years back. The modern life is a modern life of dependency. Completely a dependency. Modern life is a modern life of complete dependency on others. He talks elaborately about doctors. He says, I overeat. There is trouble in my stomach. The nature is punishing me. If I suffer, next time I will not eat like that. But doctor gives a tablet and you never suffer. And next day also you do the same way. Doctor is not solving the problem. Dependent on you. So, I study some 30 years dentistry, but I will be stupid on all other areas. So, rationality is confining your, rationality in one field is confining your intellectual capacity. It doesn't make you versatile. So, versatile in so many areas. Okay. So, he asks some 3 important questions. His problem was, he thinks the Western countries have taken a path of development since 17th century. And that man said, I think therefore I am. Which means, if I don't think, my body doesn't exist, society doesn't exist. Okay? This is privileging the mind over life. Okay? From there, before he said, I think therefore I am, we used to think, people used to think, nature is God. It is very complex. We can't understand completely. We should have a lot of respect. We should not exploit it. If we do something, it will take revenge. Okay? So this is the understanding before 17th century. But once we started inventing science, the best, our attitude about science and about the world is best reflected by this. If you see many houses even now, we buy a globe, even I did distribute it. We buy a globe and give it to children. You know what is the symbolism of that? You are conquering the world. You conquer the world. But before 17th century, we thought The world, the universe is too big and we have to be respectable, we should not exploit it. After 17th century, we thought Earth is stupid. We should exploit everything in it, using the technology, using science. So therefore, Gandhi asked three important questions. West has taken a model of development since 17th century till now, because of which the earth is suffering, nature is suffering. Therefore, we have to ask these three questions. One, how and when nature became natural resource? Looking at nature as a beautiful world to live is different from looking at nature as a resource. If the people think that nature is a great thing, will they come to Orissa? They never stayed even one day in those tribal areas. But now they are coming. They don't know the beauty of those places. Now they are mastering. But don't you think that all of us wants to master the world? Why are we criticizing the people who have so much of technological power and destroying the villages there and digging everything? Here, if I want a lot of power, I want to master the world, therefore I am studying a lot. But from here I go to Orissa also. I want to master that world also. But if I do here, everybody says, oh, he is becoming a very great intellectual. Fine. But if I go there and exploit it, then we are all criticizing. Why are we doing that? So when and how we started thinking nature is a place to live by rather than natural resource. That's one question. The second question he asked is, when and how people became citizens. Now I am talking about the power of modernity. We never realize the power of modernity because we don't know what is the next stage of life, next stage of civilization. Therefore, modernity became a self-referential. We all become modern. We have nothing to compare with. See, 70th century we compare now, we think that we are very modern now. That is the problem of self-reference. People became citizens after we are all governed through hundreds of laws, hundreds of institutions. How many institutions are governing us? We are very scared to think also, no? To get a water, we have to ask some institute. To get electricity, we have to ask something. How dependent we are. If power goes on here, we don't know what to do. Train doesn't go, we don't know what to do. Why? How many institutions are governing us? Do we know what laws are governing all those things? Okay. The third important question that Gandhi asked was, when and how knowledge instead of becoming a means to live by has become an expertise. Knowledge is different from expertise. When and how? Knowledge has to be a source to live by. But we have, but it became an expertise to depend on.